So I purchased these cabinets through Home Depot, Kraftmaid cabinets, semi-custom. I paid about $22,000 plus the cost of installation was just under $4,000. And between the two, there's a number of issues that I'd like to illustrate. In reality, you spend that kind of money on a cabinet assembly, the expectation is that you're at least going to have, a decent quality finished product. But I would like to point out a few what I would consider major issues. And again, or just to illustrate, I'm a general contractor myself. This is my personal house, and I spent the money for a nicer finishes and fixtures because it is my house. And part of the reason I'm doing this video is just as a result of my dissatisfaction with the finished quality. But initially we received I want to say 3 cabinets that were damaged, and the installer essentially could not install anything because of this. So it was another 3 weeks or so beyond that, and the whole process from the day I ordered to the day they were actually installed was at least, I want to say it was about 3 months by the time everything was actually ready to go. But even after they were here, there were still a couple issues that I had to address, which I'll go into detail shortly, as well as some very obvious issues that I'm gonna get right into right now. By the way, here's one of the damaged cabinets that shipped with a broken frame and damage to the side. Here's some damage related to the installer, as well as over here, this is big scratch related to the installation, and Home Depot has since orchestrated to have those replaced. I've received one of them right here so far. Let's see. So here's the island. It's a large island, obviously. One of the first things I had to deal with is the designer did not center the sink on the island, despite the full consultation we had with her and an explanation of what we wanted. So this cabinet here was initially too large, and it shifted this entire setup to the right, and causing the sink to be offset, which is just, it doesn't make any sense. It's one thing if it's done intentionally, but this was like a 3-inch offset, which would just have messed up the symmetry because this sink aligns with the cooktop over here. But if you look at the island here, you'll see that these boxes, there's a taper. So you can see it here to here, there's probably a 1/4-inch variance, and over here, like 3/16 or so. One of the consequences of that is you get this massive bow right at the center point there between each corner, and that bow carries through the panel down to the base trim. And even more dramatic on this side, you get another bow that carries down to the shoe molding. I challenged the installer on this, and he said, well, that's normal, the boxes are built that way. And it's such an irrational response. There's no excuse for those to be out of alignment. And if you look this direction, you can also see there's some significant waviness, and that causes all of my doors, I mean, they could be adjusted to a degree, but they all have these discrepancies in them that are a direct result of the installation. And you see it on this side as well. It looks like we got it right on this side, fortunately. You can see most of the gaps are all nice and parallel. Let's see. One of the biggest issues I encountered with this cabinet installation, purchase and installation, were these floor to ceiling cabinets here. At the consultation for the cabinets, we clearly specified that we wanted, 48-inch opening there, and that was the intent. And so the designer at Home Depot said they specified the rough opening we needed. In fact, they told us we would want at least a 48-inch rough opening, or it actually would be a finished opening. So it was framed out, and the drywall is applied at exactly 48 inches. And consequence of that was, well, as you can see, we had to take the corner bead off and remove the drywall there just to fit these in place. And that was a couple hour ordeal of my time to get it to work. In fact, you can't see, but I had to remove the drywall all the way to the back of the cavity there. And now the responsibility apparently is on me to figure out how to trim this out, when it was clearly designated at the design consultation. And the installers, the company there, they even confirmed the measurements. They say, yes, this looks good, your cabinets will fit. So this is what happens though when that is not accurately conveyed. And even as I'm walking around here, I'm seeing miscellaneous damage on these cabinets, and I don't know if the camera will pick it up, but there's a lot of just these random shiny discrepancies that don't just buff out, just all over the place. And it's pretty disheartening when you spend that kind of money and you expect a really nice finished product, and it's just not there. The other thing is this oven here, the whole setup, you can see the designer asked us to specify the oven. We did just that prior to even building the cabinets, and when it shipped, the opening was substantially smaller, so the installer had to cut it. But even after cutting it, we have this awkward blank space down here, and so obviously the designer should have specified or called out for a taller drawer face to match the elevation of this one. And then as I'm looking here, you can see there's down here, you can see there's joints in the toe kick. There's definitely waviness. Some of it bows in, some of it bows out. If you'll follow this, you can see just random bump outs in the shoe molding. And don't get me wrong, my intention is not to be overly nitpicky. Things are always going to be a little funky, but the issue is I went out of my way, spent a lot of money to make sure that everything was nice and level, and there would be no concern when installing these items. And to see that, it's perplexing and it's not acceptable. I should also add that if you put a tape between this face and the face of that cabinet and that face, there's I think there's roughly a 3/4 inch taper. So these are actually not technically parallel, which was, obviously a necessity for the installation. So that is the extent of what's going on here. I would say in general the cabinets are very nice, but the everything surrounding the actual installation it's just been very unfortunate, and I don't think I'll be going that route in the future on our next project. I'll probably spend a little extra money and go with a local cabinet maker that's going to focus on our project, and actually have a concern, a reputation to uphold for that project. So this is what we get, and I will be submitting this video to Home Depot and Kraftmaid and Artistic Cabinet Design, in order to see what they think. But that's it. Thank you for watching, and if you have any questions about the kitchen we have here, or what exactly went on, feel free to reach out. Thank you.